the longest-serving head of state or president in the world. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea, a comprehensive overview. Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, also known as EI Jefe the Boss, Equatorial Guinea, 1979 to 2024. He was a former military officer, a politician, the founder of Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea, PDGE, the ruling party, and the second president of Equatorial Guinea since 1979, after he ousted his uncle President Francisco Macias Nguema in a military coup d'etat in 1979 known as the Coup for Freedom, and took control of the country as president and the chairman of the Supreme Military Council junta. After the country's nominal return to civilian rule in 1982, Obiang founded the Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea, PDGE, in 1987, which was the country's sole legal party until 1992. He served as chairperson of the African Union from 2011 to 2012. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema is the longest-serving president in the world. As of January 2024, he is the second longest consecutively serving current non-royal national leader in the world. According to most domestic and international election observers, President Obiang Nguema leads one of the most corrupt, ethnocentric, and repressive regimes in the world. He has since won all the so-called presidential general elections in the country. He has been in power for more than 4 decades. His presidency has been characterized by stability, but it has also faced criticism for alleged human rights abuses and lack of political pluralism. Basically, Equatorial Guinea is essentially a one-party state dominated by Obiang's Democratic Party of Equatorial Guinea, PDGE, with supermajority government. The Constitution of Equatorial Guinea grants Obiang Nguema a sweeping power, including the power to rule by decree. With this absolute power vested in him, President Obiang Nguema appointed his son, Teodoro Nguema Obiang Mangay, as the Vice President of Equatorial Guinea since June 2016. It was reported in 2006 that President Obiang Nguema favored his son, Teodoro Obiang Mangay, to succeed him as president. However, many people believe that his son, Obiang Nguema Mangay, is not fit to hold public office due to his lavish spending and ostentatious lifestyle, and also his conviction and charges around the world for various offenses, such as money laundering, corruption, and embezzlement of state funds, etc. President Obiang Nguema is regarded as an authoritarian leader and widely accused of corruption and abuse of power. Equatorial Guinea is a small, oil-rich country with a population of less than 2 million people. The country has experienced economic growth during President Obiang's tenure as the country emerged as an important oil producer in the 1990s, with GDP growth and one of the highest per capita incomes in Africa. Despite being one of Africa's top oil-producing countries, this wealth has not always translated into widespread development, with much of the population still facing poverty and limited access to basic services and amenities. President Obiang's administration has focused on economic development, primarily driven by the oil sector. However, concerns have been raised about corruption, mismanagement of resources, and a lack of diversification of the economy and transparency. The government has implemented infrastructure projects, but their impact on poverty reduction and human development indicators has been minimal. However, in recent years there has been effort to improve the situation, but challenges still persist with issues such as access to healthcare, education, and other basic services requiring further attention. President Obiang's government has invested in education, with initiatives aimed at improving access to schooling and enhancing educational infrastructure, but challenges still persist, including disparities in access to quality education across the country and concerns about the curriculum's alignment with the country's developmental needs and improvement to meet international standards. However, according to UNESCO, Equatorial Guinea has one of the highest adult literacy rates in sub-Saharan Africa. The government has undertaken infrastructure projects to boost development, including the construction of roads, bridges, airports, and other public facilities aimed to enhance connectivity and promote economic growth. But there have been concerns about the transparency of these projects and their equitable distribution across the country and their sustainability. President Obiang's administration has been marred by allegations of corruption. He and his family, close associates and cronies, have benefited immensely from the country's substantial oil wealth. In 2022, Transparency International awarded Equatorial Guinea a low total score of 17 over 100 on Corruption Perceptions Index rating and ranked the country 171 out of 180 countries, as well as other organizations, have consistently ranked Equatorial Guinea poorly in global corruption indices and faced criticism for not doing enough to combat corruption effectively. Equatorial Guinea continues to suffer from relentless exploitation at the hands of its ruling family. The country's political, economic, and legal systems have been controlled by the President Obiang Nguema for more than 4 decades. In November 2022, the octogenarian President Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, the longest national serving leader, was confirmed for the 6th term of 7-year in office in the presidential general election with about 95% of the votes cast. However, the election has been criticized by both international and domestic observers as unfree and unfair. Critics argue that corruption is deeply ingrained in the political system, impacting various sectors and hindering the country's development. Nepotism is another concern associated with President Obiang's rule. Members of his family hold key positions in the government and business sectors, raising questions about fairness and transparency in governance. In January 2023, one of the president's son, Ruslan Obiang Nguema, was arrested for alleged corruption for presumably selling a plane belonging to the country's national airline. President Teodoro Obiang's leadership style has been characterized by a strong centralization of power, limiting political pluralism and opposition parties' activities. He once asked, "What right does the opposition have to criticize the actions of the government?" His government has faced criticism for its democratic records, with concerns raised about political freedom and human rights. Despite the challenges, President Obiang's administration and long tenure in office has achieved some milestones, particularly in infrastructure development and policies to attract foreign investment to diversify the economy, aiming to position Equatorial Guinea as a regional economic player. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema, Mbasogo's long tenure in office, Equatorial Guinea, has been marked by both achievements and challenges. While there have been strides in certain areas, concerns remain about issues of corruption, nepotism, human rights abuses, embezzlement, transparency, and the state of democracy. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Bye.